Antichrist and the synagogue of Satan, right? So here we see Bible prophecy coming to pass, right? There's no other book that gives these accurate prophecies like the Bible. I have to admit that I study prophecy. I study precognitive dreams. I study remote viewing. I study psychic phenomena. And there's no prophecy that has no book that has so many accurate prophecies of the time we living in right now as the Bible, right? So let's get right into it, right? So here we see the synagogue of Satan, right, and the Antichrist start to reveal themselves on the earth and start to openly run their program, right? Into this is the final inning. We're in the end game now, right? This is how you know we're in the end game. You see, because you're starting to see open opposition against them, and then you're starting to notice their their approach. So I'm just gonna outline a few things. I want to get right into it. Stand by.
Aware of the significant public interest in its investigations, and that engagement was consistent with its mandate under the Rome Statute, but warned that its independence was undermined when individuals threatened to retaliate against the court or its personnel. It says such threats may constitute an offence against the administration of justice under the Rome Statute. The ICC statement points to Article 70 of the Rome Statute, which deals with offences against the administration of justice, including subsection D, impeding, intimidating or corruptly influencing an official of the court for the purpose of forcing or persuading the official not to perform or to perform improperly his or her duties, or subsection E, retaliating against an official of the court on account of duties performed by that or another official. The context: Axios this week reporting that a bipartisan group of senators on Wednesday had a virtual meeting with senior officials of the ICC to express their concern about possible arrest warrants being issued for Israeli leaders over the war in Gaza. The Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson on Wednesday released a blistering statement calling the possible warrants disgraceful, baseless, lawless and illegitimate. Johnson said further that instead of wrongly targeting Israel, the ICC should pursue charges against Iran and its proxies, including Hamas. It is understood that the ICC prosecutor's probe does in fact include investigating the actions of Hamas. Furthermore, Republican senators led by Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio have introduced legislation to sanction ICC officials who investigate or prosecute U.S. troops and officials and allies who do not recognize the authority of the ICC, such as Israel. Additionally, the White House earlier said it didn't support the investigations because it didn't believe the ICC had jurisdiction over alleged crimes committed in the occupied Palestinian territories. Asked if the U.S. administration was engaging the ICC on behalf of Israel, this was the response from Washington's UN envoy this week.
The ICC is an independent organization, and their efforts are being undertaken without any contact or interference by the U.S.
Well, we know that's a lie, right? So Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of the United States, right? He orders his political forces in the United States that they've taken over, because the capital of the United States is Tel Aviv, not Washington, D.C. So he orders his political whores to get to work. And then what do? They attack the campuses. And he tells them, he gives the order, right? Shut down all protests in the United States. Threaten your own citizens. And they're trying to ban the Bible, right? And then the whole political class in the United States, they like, sir, yes, sir. They come out and then they say the court is disgraceful, baseless, lawless, and illegitimate. That would describe them. He's describing himself. See, that's Satan. It's inverted. It's upside down. It's inside out. So they say about other people what really applies to themselves. That's how you can tell you're dealing with a satanic individual, like this man you see on the screen. He is disgraceful. He is lawless and he is illegitimate. You understand? But he says that about other people. You're dealing with the devil. You're dealing with the synagogue of Satan. Right? It's inverted. You see? And there is no saving you. Like nothing can save you from these people. Only that's how you know the prophet. That's why when you understand the prophecies, you know it's true. You know nothing can save you from Benjamin, the prime sinister. Right? You know for a fact that he has put a battery in their back and taken control over the United States. You know that these people have taken control over the United States. The dark forces of the synagogue of Satan and the Antichrist now rule over you. You can't hide it anymore. Right? It's on international news. So you would be a fool not to understand and believe it. Right? It's not me saying it. You watching it. Right? Who do you believe, me or your lying eyes? Right? That's what these people are telling you. As they have totally cucked and co-opt your whole government apparatus, all your colleges. They cucked and co-opt all of your churches. Right? The black church is the synagogue of Satan. The Baptists, the Protestants, the Mormons, right? Catholics. This is all the synagogue of Satan, disguised as so-called Christianity, but we know it's not Christianity. Christians are a race of the people, as written in the book of Ezra. So we see that these people, right, are really lawless and illegitimate, right? And what do? They try to break down they went and threatened the ICC. That's what they do to everybody. They threaten them, right? I'm gonna try to get through all of this, man. These people, so the Antichrist, right, rules from Israel. You see, from the illegitimate state of Israel. The state of Israel is an illegitimate place. There's nothing in the Bible prophecy or anywhere in the Bible that one proves that these people are Semites, and two, proves that they are the legitimate of the legitimate Israelite bloodlines, right? From the Judeans or anybody that belong in the land of Palestine. Right? So they are the lawless and illegitimate ones. These are the seeds of Satan. These are the agents of the Antichrist. You must understand, right? I mean, it's plain and simple, right? So let me try to get through this, right? Stand by. So here, let's listen to a little bit of this report where the prime sinister threatens, revenge against anybody that opposes him, right? Let's take a look.
Until Hamas is destroyed.
Meanwhile, the threat by the International Criminal Court to issue warrants for senior Israeli leaders accused of war crimes has riled up Israel. Let's listen to what Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes. The Israeli army, the IDF, is one of the most moral militaries in the world. It takes endless measures to prevent civilian casualties, measures that no other army takes. It does so while fighting a terrorist enemy which uses its own civilians as human shields. You know the truth.
The Middle East Eye reported that Netanyahu called hostage families to get them to lobby for the ICC to back down and not issue warrants. And Axios reported that Netanyahu issued a threat of sorts, saying he would punish the Palestinian Authority if warrants are issued. Israeli officials said, quote, "It will consider the Palestinian Authority responsible and retaliate with strong action that could lead to its collapse." Note that the Palestinian Authority is the government in control in the West Bank, where Israel has been criticized for its illegal under international law settlements.
So the prime sinister of the United States threatened to kill more people, right? So they didn't hit up 100,000 people wounded 70,000, around 60,000, 65,000, right? Killed like 35,000, right? Unarmed people. He's threatening to kill more people. He said, listen, if you take me to court for war crimes that I am committing, if you admit that I'm doing it and then try to stop me by taking us to court, I'm gonna kill more people. Wow, it's a hell of, right? He said, you gotta stop. That's a weird ass threat. He even mentioned the protests in the United States. He said all of this is anti-Semitism, right? Criminal courts and protests is anti-Semitism, right? And then he made threats, right? They threatened the judges, right? Of the ICJ, which is in the Bible. This is biblical prophecy. I'll show it to you. And then he threatened to kill more unarmed people in the West Bank. He threatened to kill more people in the West. They done killed about 1,000 people in the West Bank, which is north of Gaza, right? There is no Hamas in the West Bank, right? And so he's threatened to kill more of those people if they don't call the ICJ and tell them to stop it. Are these people not maniacs? Right? Not to mention the people that work for them. You watch your whole political structure bow down and kiss their ass and kiss the ring. Right? This is nothing but a bunch of cowards and maniacs and fanatical Nazis. I mean, the right, it's not me saying it. I mean, it's obvious what they are. They're out in the open now, right? That's one thing about this whole situation. This has brought them out in the open, all of them. It's exposed them to the world. That's how you know you're in the end times. Because they've been exposed to the world. We don't have to debate because they come on TV and give speeches and threaten people on TV. I mean, this man is threatening people on fucking television, on the internet, everywhere. He's threatening. Listen, he said it. I'm just paraphrasing what he said. Right? I'm gonna kill more people if you don't back off. Right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna kill people that's not even in Gaza. I'm gonna kill people in the West Bank. I'm gonna collapse this whole place. I mean, it's already collapsed. It's already a fucking concentration camp with it all over that place, all over Palestine. He said, I'm gonna make it even worse. You gonna make it worse? What's worse than what the fuck this motherfucker has already done? That everybody can stand for, right? Stand by.
Concerns about the level of Israeli influence in our politics here in the United States of America?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, I'm not a politician in political office, so I don't see much of that.
For as long as I live, for as long as I have the privilege of serving in the Senate from New York, I will unflinchingly, unstintingly, and with all of my strength be Shomer Yisrael, a guardian of Israel.
The first bill that I'm going to bring to this floor in just a little while will be in support of our dear friend Israel, and we're overdue in getting that done.
And no one has done more for Israel than you, Lindsey, Senator Lindsey Graham. He is a stalwart champion of our alliance, and we have no better friend. So I want to thank you for everything you've been doing over the years.
I have said to people when they ask me, if this Capitol crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel.
Let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country. In the first place, Jews, understandably in the United States, because of what happened in World War II, because of the Holocaust, are going to put first priority on the survival of Israel.
You've also said that Congress is an Israeli-occupied territory. Now, what do you mean by that?
I said on the McLaughlin group in response to a question, Jim, they said, do you think that the Congress of the United States will resist this demand for further aid? I said, through a crack I'd heard. I said, no, the Congress of the United States is Israeli-occupied territory. What I meant by that is the most powerful lobby in Washington, which Congress can't stand up to, one of the most powerful, is certainly the pro-Israeli lobby. It has gotten its way in this town year in and year out. And I don't think the automatic votes of the Congress of the United States for $3 and $4 billion worth of aid to Israel are necessarily in the national interest of the United States. And that comment, which is to ridicule the subservience of the Congress of the United States, is perfectly valid.
Years ago,
I am Jewish, always done what's right. We've led the fight for gay rights. Harvey Milk fought to ban discrimination based on sexual orientation. Eddie Windsor was a leader in the fight for marriage equality. Miriam Ben Shalom challenged the ban on gay people serving in the military. We've helped lead the fight for racial justice. Our RFFs with MLK. Together with Black leaders, Jews helped to establish over 20 HBCUs. During the Civil Rights Movement, Jews were disproportionately involved in the protests. We've led rights.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. You all do. Keep it going. Do something about it. Do something.
This man in the black shirt who mouthed off, uttered the N-word, and spit on protesters at the University of California, Los Angeles has been identified. And he is a former boxer, plus part of this gym.
David, you have your own gym now, huh? Kaminsky Boxing?
Same last name.
Kaminsky, whose nickname is the Lion of Zion, is from Israel, but per BoxRec, lives in Tarzana, California.
Listen to what happened in German universities in the 1930s. It's unconscionable. It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned, and condemned unequivocally. The response of several university presidents was shameful. Now, fortunately, state, local, federal officials, many of them have responded differently, but there has to be more. More has to be done as Israel tries to defend itself against genocidal terrorists who hide behind civilians. Yet it is Israel that is falsely accused of genocide, Israel that is falsely accused of starvation and all sundry war crimes. It's all one big libel. Bad enough. Not only because they want to kill Jews wherever they are, that's bad enough. It's also, when you listen to them, it's also because they say not only death to Israel, death to the Jews, but death to America. And this tells us that there's an anti-Semitic surge here that has terrible consequences. We see this exponential rise of anti-Semitism throughout America and throughout Western societies as Israel tries to defend itself against genocidal terrorists who hide behind civilians. Yet it is Israel that is falsely accused of genocide, Israel that is falsely accused of starvation and all sundry war crimes. It's all one big libel, but that's not new. We've seen in history that anti-Semitic attacks were always preceded by vilification and slander. Lies that were cast against the Jewish people that are unbelievable, yet people believed them. And what is important now is for all of us who are interested and cherish our values and our civilization, to stand up together and to say enough is enough. We have to stop anti-Semitism because anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine. It always precedes larger conflagrations that engulf the entire world.
Right, so here we have the friend of, of black people, as the woman in the clip said. These good friends are black people, right, who run an apartheid state, right, who also led blacks into slavery in the United States under a man called Judah P. Benjamin, a Jew called Judah P. Benjamin, right? And she says, we the friend, we help black people, right? Now, while, you can see how they really feel, right? And so you have to be careful about people who breadcrumb you and act like they really, fuck with you when they don't. They're just using you a lot of times, right? And trying to play you and shit, manipulate you. But they'll, pretend that they're not. I mean, that's Satan. That's the synagogue of Satan, right? And so this man, he says, if you don't stop, there's going to be a great conflagration that's going to engulf the world. You're right. he's giving you a prediction because he's the Antichrist. You see, and what is he telling you? He says a great conflagration that's going to engulf the whole world, right? He says if you go against us, right? If you see any uprise against the rulership of the synagogue of Satan, right, as it's written in the book of Revelations, then that precedes a great war across the whole world. Well, that would be true. That's a true statement. That's the only true thing this devil has said, this demon has said. The only true thing this demon has said was that what you're seeing now is going to proceed the great war that is going to destroy them. But what he meant was probably everybody else. But I mean, let me put that in its proper context, right? So he's correct. It is going to be a great conflagration, right? I had to look that up. I didn't even know what the fuck it meant, right? And but it's not. It's going to destroy them, not the whole world. The world will go on, but they won't. Why do I say that? Well, it's written in the book of Revelations, right? This is a prelude to their destruction, right? And everything I've shown you is that these people, this man is the Antichrist. You see, this man is the Antichrist, and you've seen his synagogue of Satan. You've seen the people that follow him. Anytime you see a cross, an Israeli flag, right? People screaming they stand with Israel, all of that kind of shit. What are you seeing? You're seeing basically an abomination. You're seeing people swear allegiance to the devil. These people are swearing their allegiance to Satan, the devil, the Antichrist. These people are satanic Nazis of the highest order. You see? This man is a satanic Nazi of the highest order. If he is not the Antichrist, he is the CEO of his operation on earth. He's the man next to the man, basically, right? But I would say this man is the Antichrist. He just said it. He's going to usher in the destruction and Armageddon. That's what conflagration basically means, Armageddon. Because what they're going to do is going to lead to a great war, right? A great burning of the earth, the apocalypse. This is the apocalypse. What is the apocalypse? The apocalypse means a great revealing and unveiling on the earth. Not necessarily destruction, but a great revealing. So what is happening right now? With the clips I've shown you, you're seeing them being revealed for who they are, as it is written in the Bible, not by me. It's not me. I'm just, presenting the obvious. Stand by. So I'm going to wrap this up with a few scriptures to show you who they are as written in the prophecy. You see? I mean, it should be quite evident. You know what? Wait a minute. I got one more. So I forgot to do this. Let's do this real quick. Showing you that they passed it. The law that they passed is to ban the Bible. Stand by.
It's flooding in Texas. Pray for us. 100% on everything, especially out East Texas. So yeah, pray. It's like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas flood. It's happening. Not all of them are Soros types, those. Got to be some good ones. There are. Most of them are, though. Most of them are the Soros types. Did the United States House of Representatives just make parts of the Bible illegal? That's what Charlie Kirk just asked. And then Tucker Carlson responds, yes, the New Testament. Also weighing in on this, and I'll talk about the actual language being used by the U.S. Congress that would, in a sense, ban the Bible. It would ban the New Testament. 2 verses in particular that I will read to you today and discuss theologically. Here's Matt Walsh. Let me see. There's a different one here. This one here. He says, you need to understand how crazy this anti-Semitism bill is that just passed the House with wide bipartisan approval. The law requires the Department of Education to adopt the definition of anti-Semitism provided by something called the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. And I remark, this is disastrous for Christians because here is the actual language that is defined. And this is also provided by Matt Walsh on Twitter. By the way, get on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, Taylor R. Marshall. Follow Walsh. Follow Tucker. Follow Charlie Kirk. So the International Holocaust, whatever it is, Association has these standards that are now classified as hate speech under the new bill passed bipartisan by the United States Congress. And as we get into the New Testament tonight, you're going to see that this is Antichrist. This is anti-Christian. And you should be concerned about it.
So not to make this too long, what is he talking about? So they ban things like this. So in the New Testament, you have Revelation 3 and 9. What does it say? It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and know I have loved thee. So under the new law they just passed, this is hate speech and anti-Semitism, and this would be banned. And if you talked about these quotes in the Bible, then you will be charged with breaking the law. And there's others, right? So basically they're trying to ban the New Testament because they also use the Torah, so they can't ban that. But basically what they're banning is parts of the New Testament. So that's what he's talking about, right? And in the law, I don't want to make this too long. You can go look it up. But in the law that they passed in the House, it states that it talks about that any references, biblical references, et cetera, would now be considered anti-Semitism. So the United States has basically banned the Bible, but they claim to be a Christian nation. So as I said, they're exposing themselves that they're not a Christian nation. They are part of the synagogue of Satan, right? And it proves what Alan Watts said in 1965, 1970, and it proves what I said, that he's correct. That this is the form of Christianity that they practice is a racist, Nazi, fascist, white supremacist mythology cult group. With the white Jesus and all that is just mythology, right? Where you burn crosses, you burn black people in front of crosses while burning crosses. I mean, all this is satanic, and it always has been, you see? And now they're coming out of the closet. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're taking off their KKK hoods. They're taking off of their masks, right? They're reptilian shape-shifting, right? Basically right in front of you. You see? And showing themselves for who they truly are. You see? They're showing their true colors now, which means what? This is when it gets most dangerous, because they wouldn't come out of the woodwork unless they really had to, right? Unless they really had to, do you think they would blatantly expose themselves like this? Or do they think that people are that weak and stupid? Do they think that people are that weak and stupid, or do you think that they're feeling the heat, and then this is coming down to the wire now, so they just said, fuck it, we're just gonna rip our mask off, and we're gonna go straight satanic Nazi. Right? And reveal ourselves for who we really are, and then we're gonna so the Israelis have forced them basically to ban the Bible in the United States. Now, why would you ban something that's not true? That's something else to think about, right? If this is total bullshit, Revelations 3 and 9 and the different prophecies are about them specifically are not true, why would you ban it? We said, well, because it's hate speech, right? Anything pertaining to the fact that and then they misquote the Bible. They say, well, saying that Jewish people killed Christ is anti-Semitic. Jewish people didn't kill Christ. All Jews killed Christ. That shows the stupidity of Americans, really, to let somebody tell you something like that. Christ was a Jew. His families were technically were Israelites, which also were called Jews, right? And so the Jews didn't kill Christ. That's like saying an outside group killed him. What they don't explain is that the Pharisees and the people, the politicians, Pharisees, and the people of his community killed him. They sold him out to get rid of him because they were afraid of him and his power, and that, not to mention the Romans were afraid of him, but they basically exposed him to the Romans, and then he wanted to get rid of them too because they were corrupt. He basically was saying, listen, you Negroes are a bunch of sellouts, right? You working with the Romans, you're a bunch of sellouts, you're a bunch of liars, hypocrites, and you are pimping our people. And so they had, the people within his group, so-called Jews, had him, other Jews, well, they were Jews, right? Other, Israelite groups or Jews, if you want to call them that, had him delivered up and killed. But they were his people. He was sold just like Martin Luther King. He was sold out by his own people. Jesse Jackson, right? He was sold out by his own people. So when you say it's anti-Semitic to say the Jewish people put Christ to death, you're not really explaining that properly. It's propaganda, right? And then say, well, that's anti-Semitic. It doesn't even fucking make sense to say. I mean, when you think about what you're saying, a group of Semites, because at the time they were Semites. They're not, those people in Israel today that went there in 1948 have nothing to do with the historical Israelite Jewish tribes, where Jew meant Judean. It didn't mean Jewish, right, in that sense. And so they have nothing to do with them. You have to understand that, right? And so, but when they say the Jews put, they say it's anti-Semitic, well, to say that the Jews put Christ to death, it's total confusion. And that's why the Bible says the devil is the author of confusion. That shit is total confusion if you don't understand that he was a so-called, Christ was a Jew, right? That's why you can't be a Christian. There's no such thing as like conversion to Christianity. Christ came for his people. He didn't come to convert everybody. That's not in the Bible. That's a lie. You just gotta accept it. That's just not true. And so his own people killed him, right? So it can't be anti-Semitic to say that his own people killed him. Like, that doesn't even make sense to say, if you say Christ was killed by his own people and he was a Jew and they was Jews, then that's anti-Semitic. How the fuck is that anti-Semitic? That's the story. That's what happened. What you're saying doesn't make sense. So what you see is, this is just a satanic, the Antichrist cracking down, where they're banning the Bible. It has nothing to do with being anti-Semitic. It's just confusion. It's just weirdo, satanic, Nazi propaganda and more Antichrist propaganda and confusion. And what it is they're trying to ban, in these last days, they're trying to ban the truth of the Bible, the truth of the prophecy against them, you see? Because they know that people are talking about it. Why? Because I'm talking about and they run, obviously algorithms and, artificial intelligence across the internet. So when you say Revelations 3 and 9, of course that's going to pop up in their little, searches or whatever. And they like, bing, right? So they know people are talking about that. So now they have to ban the Bible in the United States. You see? Because they can't confuse anybody anymore. It's getting, if they come out the woodwork, they've come out the woodwork. The emperor has no clothes. They've taken off their masks, right? They're being, they not somebody else, like I'm not exposing them, they're exposing themselves, right? So if they're gonna expose themselves, then in turn they have to, they gotta crack down, obviously, right? Because we say, oh shit, the Antichrist. They're like, okay, well, yeah. So you see me, I know you see me, well now I'm just gonna crack down on you. So it doesn't matter if you see me, because you can't do shit anyway, right? And so it's just a total Nazi crackdown at this point. A total satanic, Antichrist, Nazi crackdown where they ban the Bible. So part of that, that's what they put in that bill, right? They're gonna get rid of the Bible. Now, if that's not Antichrist, what is it? Right? Like if I gotta explain that. So when I say Benjamin Netanyahu, these people are the synagogue of Satan, and this man is the Antichrist, when he forces the U.S. Congress to pass a bill to ban the Bible, do I have to explain to you that he's the Antichrist? I mean, does that sound crazy? Does it sound crazy now? Because you might say, oh, that's crazy. If I said it a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, or 6 years ago, and I said Benjamin Netanyahu is the Antichrist, the Americans are the synagogue of Satan, Israel is the synagogue of Satan, Europe is the synagogue, you know what I mean? Latin America, where they have a huge statue of white Jesus, these places, these Portuguese, all of these different people, these groups, they are of the synagogue of Satan, right? Before it wouldn't make sense, but with them banning the Bible, does it make sense to you now? Do you understand? Do you feel uncomfortable yet? Like they said, the Jewish people don't feel uncomfortable on the college campus. I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable on this planet with these people running around. You don't feel uncomfortable on the planet with the Antichrist ruling the planet? And with these people running a total satanic, Nazi, Antichrist, satanic crackdown and outlawing the Bible in the United States. It's like, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave. Give me a break. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You can't be serious. If it was, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing and banning the Bible. You do know that, right? They wouldn't be running all this propaganda and threatening the International Criminal Court. That's not freedom when you threaten judges. When you have the Congress of the United States, the whole Israeli government and the U.S. government and the European government threaten the court, so-called international justice system, and shut it down. How is that freedom and justice and democracy? They said we're the only democracy in the Middle East. Are you fucking kidding me? You just slaughtered, 40,000 people, maimed 100,000. When the fuck did that become the part of democracy? They said, well, you made it do it. You made us do this to you, because you terrorists. What? You people are sick. You're sick in your fucking head. You some sick, satanic Nazis run by the Antichrist. What are you talking about, sir? You are out of your fucking minds. And all of these people are maniacs. That's the truth. That's the unvarnished, uncut truth. That's why Americans are so crazy. That's why the women are so crazy. They say they're having problems in dating and transgender and the children out of control and crime in Baltimore and all this shit. Yeah, because you run by the Antichrist. You led by the Antichrist. That's why the world is teetering on the edge, right, of Armageddon. Like he said, there shall be a conflagration if you stand up against me. That was a threat against all humanity. These people have threatened all humanity who are not part of the synagogue of Satan. That's what that was. Basically telling you, get down or lay down, motherfuckers. And most of y'all are gonna do it. That's why the Bible said 2/3 of my people shall be cut off and die. Most of you are going to kiss the ring. You're gonna take the mark of the beast. You're gonna kiss the ring. You're gonna go along to get along. You're gonna sign up, right, for whatever they got going on in America, right? If they say the Bible is banned, then you say, well, hey, anti-Semitism, the Bible banned, right? You're gonna go along with it. You're not gonna push back on that. Not even the white man. He complaining and shit. The white man is finished, right? The white man is finished, right? They either part of the synagogue of Satan, or they in denial, like that white man that came on there, right? And, you know, running around transgendered, or, you know, they either straight up Nazi, you know, satanic Nazi, or they transgendered, or feminist, cucked, or something, you know, or something, right? Something off. So they finished. Either way you chop it up, they done, right? America's finished. This whole thing is finished. When they ban the Bible, you can't tell what's about to happen next. The whole U.S. Congress takes an order from the prime minister of Israel and bans the fucking Bible, and you don't have any idea what's next. I don't know what's going on around here, right? All you know is Drake and Kendrick Lamar, they got a diss record and they beefing. While the U.S. Congress and the Antichrist bans the fucking Bible and slaughters damn near 100,000 people in front of you. But all you know is Drake got a response to Kendrick Lamar's diss record, right? Tom Brady threw for 100 yards or some bullshit or whatever, right? The Ravens, you know, made it to the, you know, playoffs. While, you know, Satan is somewhere basically sharpening, you know, the guillotines and shit for your asses, basically, right? I mean, how brain dead, spiritually and intellectually brain dead do you have to be not to understand that you stand on the precipice, on the edge, right? Right on the edge of the end. Like, I'm gonna wrap this. I got nothing else to say. I mean, because a 10-year-old. See, I try to keep shit simple, man. I try to keep it in simple layman's language, right? Based on just publicly available information. Because this is the shit that I watch, I see. And I'm like, wow, I see this, other people don't see this shit? But if you say something to them, they act totally oblivious. Ray Charles can see what's about to happen. I'm gone. That's all I got.